Hello, Mr. Brown here, your science teacher. Today, let's explore the science of dinosaurs. Now, there's a lot of movies out there that depict dinosaurs chasing people around, but you know better than that. You know that dinosaurs and people never lived at the same time. So, cartoons like this, that didn't actually happen. Dinosaurs died out long before people ever came around. One piece of scientific fact is that dinosaurs did rule the earth for over 150 million years. Wait a minute, you weren't there, Mr. Brown. How do you know? That's true, I wasn't there. But I'm able to look at what they left behind, and they left behind clues known as fossils. Here you can see how the process of fossilization occurs. A creature will die, their bones will get covered up by sediment, and we're left with a trace of what they look like long ago. If you're interested in fossils, you are a paleontologist. So say it with me, paleontologist, paleontologist. And if you look at fossils, you are conducting paleontology, the study of ancient fossilized bones. Now, hold on a second there, Mr. Brown. In these last two slides, it's been all guys. Aren't girls allowed to do paleontology? Well, of course, some of the best paleontologists in the world are women. And I'd like to focus in on this fossil behind her right there. That is interesting. That is an ammonite fossil, which used to swim around the oceans, but they're gone. They went extinct. One of the things paleontologists do is they try to imagine what things look like when they were alive. Here we can see an artist has shown you what these ammonites may have looked like in the world's oceans. And some of them got pretty big. Here you can see these amateur paleontologists holding up their find, but it's not as big as this one. Hey, I recognize that amateur paleontologist. Why, that's me. That's Mr. Brown, your science teacher. Back in 1996, I was in college and doing some amateur paleontology. You can see I discovered two little dinosaur bones there. And like all paleontologists, I like taking pictures with fossils. But we're not worried about me. We are worried about dinosaurs today. Look at this amazing view of dinosaurs. To explain dinosaurs, we got to talk about time, and we use the geologic time scale. This is complicated, and I do a whole video just on this topic right here. Go ahead and watch it. Anyway, what we find out is a whole bunch of stuff happened before the dinosaurs existed, and a whole bunch of stuff happened after the dinosaurs existed. So they're kind of sandwiched in the middle. And we call this the Mesozoic era, which means middle life. Okay, so that makes sense. Here we see another view of where the Mesozoic or middle life gets sandwiched in there. Let's get a closer view here. So what happened in the Permian before the dinosaurs existed? Well, here's an interesting chart here, an evolutionary classification and reconstruction of the phylogeny of living vertebrates. It's just a really complex chart. What I'm looking at is something happened here that caused the reptiles to branch off into their own group. And what happened was the development of laying eggs. All right, laying eggs. The amniotic egg was the secret to reptiles' success. No longer do they have to lay eggs in water like their amphibian ancestors. During the Permian, reptiles were doing great. Here you see some reptiles running around, laying eggs. It's a great time to be a reptile, except at the end of the Permian comes the Great Dying, one of the worst, most horrible extinction events in Earth's history. It was terrible. Volcanoes everywhere, poisonous atmosphere. And as you can see on this chart right here, life almost goes extinct. Notice how that little dip there goes almost to zero. life on Earth nearly went extinct. It was a horrible time. Death was everywhere, bones were everywhere, but a couple things did make it through. We enter the first part of the Mesozoic. We call this the Triassic period, and it is a period of recovery. And a lot of reptiles didn't make it through that great dying, but a couple of them did. What happened to those? Well, a few of those reptiles made it through and they began evolving specialized hip bones. We call these dinosaurs. Okay, so here you can see a crocodile, and the bigger and bigger it gets, its leg structure is going to allow it to drag its belly across the mud. When you have your legs straight underneath you, you are able to walk. You can get bigger and bigger and you don't drag your belly along the ground. And so this is not a dinosaur because you can see the legs come out and form a 90-degree angle. Dinosaurs have a advanced hip structure where the legs are placed right beneath the body, like this Triceratops. So the Triassic period begins, and these new reptiles with their modified hip structure begin to take over. This is Coelophysis, a very early dinosaur. And from these beginnings, we have an explosion of evolution. Dinosaurs take off in a variety of different directions, and they're allowed to take over the world because the world is all connected. This is the time of Pangea, the great supercontinent, and dinosaurs can just walk to all the different continents. The Triassic was a big time in the evolution of dinosaurs. You can see how these very early dinosaurs split off into a variety of different groups. The Triassic comes to an end with a pretty major extinction. Look at that big dip in the graph there. That's a big chunk of life that died out at the end of the Triassic. We now move into the Jurassic period in the Mesozoic, and it is a great time to be a dinosaur. It is warm and hot and swampy in this time period. Would you look at that? There is a new little baby ocean forming called the Atlantic. This is a baby picture, but it is a hot, steamy, swampy, jungly time. Here's a picture of Antarctica during that time period. Wow. There is a lot of food around, and evolution produces some of the world's greatest eating machines. This is a Brachiosaurus, whose job is to eat nonstop all the time. Here I am, back in my college days, I discovered sauropod footprints in the Utah desert. Look at that. Big footprints stomped into the ground. Here you can see one of the bones discovered of an Argentinosaurus, probably one of the largest long-necked sauropods ever to exist. These things were enormous. Look at that. What I want you to see is it had nostrils above its eyes. So we find skulls, and why would it have nostrils above its eyes? Some scientists think that these guys spent a lot of time in deep water. Possibly. Now, what's even more interesting is that today a long-necked creature like the giraffe has really high blood pressure because it has to pump blood from its heart all the way up its neck. And some scientists speculate that the Brachiosaurus, when it had its head extended straight up, must have had enormous blood pressure to pump all the way up to the top there. Other things are happening in the Jurassic. Let's go into the oceans, and the oceans are filled with these aquatic reptiles. Don't call them dinosaurs, because they are not. They are plesiosaurs. They are aquatic reptiles, and the oceans are filled with them. Some of them are making some big advances, such as live birth. All right, so here we see an imagining of a plesiosaur giving live birth underwater. All right, little guy, you better learn how to swim quick because it is a dangerous time to be in the oceans. Here you see a huge shark known as a megalodon becoming lunch for an even bigger creature. Up in the skies, they are being taken over by the pterosaurs. Don't call them dinosaurs because they're not. They are pterosaurs. Notice how I'm not pronouncing the letter P in this word because the PTR means wing. You'll see it show up in pteranodon, pterosaurs, pterodactyl, helicopter, archaeopteryx, chiroptera. It just means wing. And the biggest one of these was Quetzalcoatlus, a giant flying reptile. It was huge. It was as big as a small airplane. And here you can see what it might have been like as a Quetzalcoatlus is hanging out next to a giraffe and a human. And this is what is today known as Texas. A lot of stuff is going on in the Jurassic period, but there's another little branch off the reptile family that we got to talk about, and that is reptiles that began to evolve hair. We call these mammals, like you and I. Here we see a mammal that has snatched up a baby dinosaur for lunch, and some of these mammals are harassing Mrs. Dinosaur and her babies. The Jurassic period ends with a small extinction as we move into the Cretaceous period. And here you can see that little dip right there. That's the end of the Jurassic, a minor extinction event. And as the dinosaurs of the Cretaceous evolve, they're cut off from other continents. You can see because of plate tectonics, they are sliding and moving to what is looking more familiar today. So the Cretaceous, a big, busy period. We've got mammals and turtles and ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs and lizards and snakes and crocs and pterosaurs and dinosaurs. But most famously is the fight between T-Rex and the Triceratops. This is taking place in what is now today known as Montana. However, there's also another development. Birds are evolving. This is Archaeopteryx, one of the first birds. And here's a picture of me hanging out near an Archaeopteryx fossil. Birds live on. They don't go extinct. They carry the dinosaur DNA, the legacy of the dinosaurs. And today, birds are doing really well. Scientists look at birds, since they carry that dino DNA, and they think, wow, look at all those colors. I wonder if dinosaurs were multicolored. And so lately, scientists have been covering their depictions of dinosaurs with colored feathers. Here we see another dinosaur brightly colored. Do we know for sure? Not really, but it does make some interesting artwork. Here we see this artist has put eye spots on this ceratopsian. This artist has colored this dinosaur with really brightly colored feathers. I'm seeing blues and reds and zebra stripes. Could this stuff have happened? Possibly. And this artist is putting yellows and pinks and blues. All of this stuff, it's just an evolving science. Now, things are about to go wrong. 65 million years ago, an asteroid is headed towards Earth and smashes into what is today Mexico. It is a big blast. It messes up the water cycle. The food web is messed up, and the dinosaurs go extinct. The Mesozoic comes to an end. We started with a mass extinction, and we're ending with a mass extinction. And here you can see the big dip there on the graph at the end of the Cretaceous that wiped out the dinosaurs. Birds made it through. Crocodiles made it through. Every last dinosaur goes extinct, and this gives a chance for mammals to really shine. Thank you for joining me on the Science of Dinosaurs. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.